Y'all can do better than that.
St. Louis, Missouri, make some noise! All right. Black family, thanks for coming out. It's an honor to be back. It's been a wow. 18 months ago, I stood on this stage, April 2014. I had no idea what would be coming down the pipe a few months later after I left. You all know the story better than me because you live here.
Yes.
But in August of that same year, our brother Michael Brown, rest in peace to him, was shot down like a dog.
Right.
Like an animal. And his body was allowed to just lay there in the street, lifeless for hours. Brothers and sisters, we have to take some responsibility for that. We have to take some responsibility for not only the murder of Michael Brown, but we got to take responsibility for Trayvon's, and we got to take responsibility for Eric Garner's. We got to take responsibility for all of them. Our role in these assassinations of young black boys, young black men, black women, Sandra Bland, our role is that we created the intellectual atmosphere for white supremacy to get away with murder and not call it racism.
Right.
We are the ones, after President Obama's initial election, it was black people who stood up and celebrated that a new time is coming in America. It was us who said that maybe the country is turning towards a post-racial model. It was black folk who took racism off the table of a discussion of what was going on in this country. And so we created the context that made it safe for black children to be murdered and racism not play a role in that determination. We got to recognize that. And some of us are still playing that type of a role. I remember when the Michael Brown tragedy took place. White media, black media, they wanted my opinion. They called me up and they said, okay, we know what happened was wrong. And there may not have been a justification for it. But Dr. Johnson, don't you think it was a bit opportunistic for black people in Ferguson to use this situation to loot, to rob, to steal, to burn? Wouldn't you have to criticize your people for their behavior after the murder of the young brother? I said, of course not. I said, first of all, the United States government and the American social order are at war with black people. And when you go to war, one of the biggest objectives of war, in fact, the reason why every war has been fought in world history, was to take something that the other side has. So when you are in an armed struggle, you would be foolish not to take what the power structure has that you may need. So when brothers and sisters took things from businesses, I thought that was an act of intelligence. That's what you're supposed to do. Because last time I checked, 90% of those businesses in Ferguson are not owned by black folks. They're owned by Arabs, East Indians, Chinese, Koreans, Latinos, who've been robbing black people to hell blind for 50 plus years. And not giving us nothing back in exchange for all the investments that we made.
Thank you.
Well, there was a few black businesses that got caught up in that, Dr. Johnson. You know, like I know, in any war, there's collateral damage. But you don't use one black business being harmed as justification for the others not to be harmed. Brothers and sisters, I told them if I was there, I would have participated in it as well. Chicken wings, mouthwash, sneakers, hats. With my 6 degrees, I would have been stealing some shit too. Supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do whenever there's a war. Every war in America is fought to take. Every world war was fought to take. Every war in America, every war across the 7 continents is fought to take possession of resources that the other side had. So when Darren Wilson kicked off that war between blacks and Ferguson and the American social order, it was within our right to take from them. But I commend you all. I commend you for standing up during that situation, because it has happened in so many other cities and we did nothing about it. It took a little small fly on the wall called Ferguson. They've been murdering black men in Philadelphia. We didn't rise like that. They've been killing them in New York. We didn't rise like that. They've been killing them in Houston, in LA, in Detroit, in Michigan. We didn't rise like that. Things were done, but we didn't rise like that. So I was happy to see it. Why? Because ever since Rodney King back in 1991 had been murdered, black folks have given silent approval to the murder, but not doing a damn thing about it. So I'm glad Ferguson rose. So then, another question was asked. Dr. Johnson, is there anything beneficial that can come from a rebellion? Does it make sense to tear up the same neighborhood and community that you live in? Isn't that counterproductive to what black folks need? I said, well, you fail to understand something. When institutions and societies are not built in the best interest of the people who live there, those institutions cannot be reformed. They cannot be repaired. They cannot be reversed. They must be torn down and reconstructed. The Ferguson Rebellion laid the foundation for the building up of a new community by tearing down the racist one that did not serve black people. It's amazing how people tell us rebellions don't make a difference. It's amazing how people tell us protest would avail you of nothing. It's amazing how even Negroes will say that that's a waste of time if you want to change things in Ferguson, St. Louis, Missouri, black America. You don't revolt. You don't rebel. You register and you vote. Have you noticed that that has been the exclusive narrative of national black leadership for the past 50 years? Whenever something goes wrong, Michael Brown gets murdered, register and vote. Trayvon, register and vote. Hurricane Katrina, register and vote. Sandra Bland, register and vote. As if being registered to vote is going to change the conduct of police in the black community. Are you aware that everything we've gotten in this country as African people, we didn't get it through the vote? You got out of slavery with blood, sweat, and tears. You got the Civil Rights Bill through blood, sweat, and tears. You got the Voting Rights Act through blood, sweat, and tears. If you believe that we can use the political apparatus to remove white racism's foot off the neck of black America, show me a historical example where that has happened. Better yet, let's leave America. Go to any country in the world and show me where an oppressed group was able to end oppression by voting within the electoral system controlled, constructed, and owned by the oppressor. Nothing you get through going through his system. So why black leaders keep telling us to organize and vote, register and vote? Because that's a cop-out. When you don't want to fight for your people, you come up with all types of convenient lies. And that's the biggest lie we're being told. Dr. King boycotted the Montgomery Bus Company for 381 days. After a few weeks, the governing mayor came in and said, boycotting the buses in Montgomery was illegal. They made it illegal. Black folk kept on boycotting. They locked them up. They kept on boycotting. Brothers and sisters walked and walked and walked till their feet was bleeding at the bottom. Going through a pair of shoes a week. Some of them not being able to afford the shoes, walk barefoot. Blood from the soul. They didn't care because they loved the people more than themselves. Did you hear that? Love the community more than myself. That's something we struggle with. That's something we struggle with a lot. And guess what, brothers and sisters? If you had to die to get out of slavery, and if you had to die to get out of Jim Crow, you're going to have to die to get out of this extermination campaign. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I know church has conditioned us into believing that something else is going to come down and save black folk, but I'm here to tell you that shit is a lie. If black people are going to be saved, black people got to save themselves. Coming up with excuses. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. When Dr. King was assassinated, and some of you take issue with Dr. King. I don't agree with everything Dr. King may have said or did, but Dr. King was a supreme strategist. You think he believed everything he said on the microphone? That was strategy. There's a difference. Booker T. Washington falls under that same umbrella. Supreme strategist who made white people believe that he was not interested in Negro progress, but behind closed doors, out of his own pocket, paid for groundbreaking civil rights legislation on the behalf of black folks. Out of his own pocket, built the National Negro Business League, funded black businesses himself. Out of his own pocket, brought Africans from Africa to Tuskegee to train them in how to build modern industry and sent them back. Out of his own pocket, used Tuskegee Institute as a hideaway for black revolutionaries, so they wouldn't get caught by the Ku Klux Klan. Does that sound like a damn sellout to you? But we so quick to judge the appearance of things. And I want you to get out of the habit of drawing conclusions from what you see. That includes me. You don't draw a conclusion from what I say or what you see. You draw a conclusion from what I do. Measurable progress is how you determine whether someone's benefiting the black, not how they look. We got a lot of shea butter in the black community. Everybody got on a cultural costume of one form or another. Locks, dashikis, African names. You so spiritual. Oh, we so spiritual. Well, I take issue with this assumed spirituality in the conscious community because I'm not aware of a spiritual giant. And I don't care who you name, Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, Abraham, Noah, Krishna, whoever you name, Pharaoh, Anganat, whoever you name, I've never seen a profoundly spiritual person be of no political relevance whatsoever. If you are really spiritual, the quality of your spirituality would be so strong that you would have to matter to your people. It's what I say to the black church. How can you be so spiritually in tune and make not a bit of difference in the neighborhood where you exist? So when Dr. King was assassinated, the United States government said we got to redo this black-white power dynamic we have. We got to make it look a little different. Because what we went through in the 60s, we can't go through again. Do you realize in the 1960s, the United States government was challenged and pushed so far that it almost cracked? Do you recognize the 60s took America to the brink of disintegration? Do you recognize that the 60s, the United States government had to worry about SNCC, they had to worry about CORE, they had the Nation of Islam, they had the Garveyites, they had the Rastas, they had the Guys and Earths, they had the NAACP, the Urban League, the sit-ins, the Freedom over 20 legitimate black organizations who all were sincere.
Yes.
Sincere. That means they did it for no other purpose but to serve the people.
The people.
After they killed Dr. King, they said, we got to redo this. We can never let this happen again. That many black leaders, that many black radical organizations challenging us at once, we can't let it happen no more. So they said, we got an idea. We're going to create the black leaders next time around. We're not going to let them come from the grassroots. We don't want no more Stokely Carmichael. We don't want no more George Jackson. No more Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, Medgar Evers. We're going to do something about that. We're going to create our own. And so when they selected who they would use in the aftermath of the King assassination, they brought them in. Urban League, NAACP, Jesse, and others. And they said, listen, we're going to let you talk black. We're going to let you shout, I'm black and I'm proud. We want you to talk smack on the white man, because if you don't, your people won't trust you. We either going to help you out, give you some money, sit you up, put you all over TV. Whenever we want to know what's going on with black folks, we're going to call you in to tell us. But you just got to promise us one thing. Promise the government one thing, black leadership, because we don't want to repeat of the 60s. The 80s got to be different than the 60s. And he said, the government said, the black leadership, promise us one thing and you're going to be all right. You will avoid assassination. You will avoid incarceration. You will avoid character disintegration. Just do this one thing. Never ever again, for as long as you live, do whatever you want. Call us crackers, devils, we don't care. Keep the people trusted in you. But don't do this one thing. And that is never again must black leadership organize and mobilize a sustained, protracted, mass protest movement against the United States government. I'm going to say it again. Never again must you do what King did. We never again want to see sustained finance by black folks. Protracted, lasts for longer than a day or a week or a month. Mass-based, include African people from all over the country, from Detroit to California, Houston to Chicago. We never want to see that again. And have you realized that in the 50 years since Dr. King has been murdered, you haven't had a single sustained, protracted, mass-based movement of black folk against the United States government, because that's the deal between the leaders and the power structure. You can protest for a day. You can protest for a week. As long as that protest has no agenda. You can march for a day. You can march for a week. As long as it's not sustained and protracted, which means it continues until certain concessions are given from the government. We've never had one in my lifetime. And that's what you need to flip white supremacy. See, we have gotten lazy. Our political muscles have grown tired. And black people in America now are too politically lazy. You're not interested in sustained, protracted, mass-based movement. If we said, hey, we're going to boycott St. Louis public transportation system, the way Dr. King boycotted Montgomery's, you Negroes will go crazy. Hell, you mean I can't catch the bus? I got to go to work. Because you ain't got no commitment to other folks who look like you. Listen, y'all, rebellions are necessary. But guess what? If you don't love yourself more than you hate race Somebody told me, Dr. Umar, I think it was better when we were segregated. But hold, don't clap too much on that. Let me tell you why. I agree. We were better off doing segregation. But do you know why? The reason you were better off doing segregation is because the white man did not want you, and by virtue of him not allowing you to participate in his reality, you were forced to build your own. Not because you love black independence, not because you love black business, not because you were proud to be an African. You did it because he left you no choice. I got a problem with that. I got a big problem with that. And the problem is this: if my oppressor has to create the conditions, I said, if my oppressor has to create the conditions in order for me to do right by myself, I'm in trouble. Black folks said they should put us back in segregation. Who's stopping you from doing it your damn self? Same Negro talking about we need to go back to segregation, got a damn white woman on his damn arm. You would take her with you? You would take her with you? Your damn love life is integrated, but you and black folks segregated. Fellas, I see ladies standing. I see ladies, raise your hand if you want a seat. I know some of y'all into the feminist thing. Y'all don't want a brother to get up and give you a seat. But ladies, if you want a seat, raise your hand so brothers know. I don't want to offend those sisters who think that's paternalistic for me to suggest that a brother give a sister his seat. All right? Ladies, come on up. If you want a seat, ladies, you got to come on up. The man you respect, you want a seat? Just walk on up the aisle. We're going to give you a seat. I see some queens back there. You all right on the wall? I don't want you standing if you don't want to stand. No, brother, she can't sit on your lap. It ain't that type of party. Keep it clean. Gotta get you. Okay, there's a seat over there, a couple seats over there. So brothers and sisters, let nobody tell you that tearing down shit is not a strategy to change things. Every nation in America was born from what? Street level grassroots protests. Study the African revolutions. Study the Russian revolutions. Study the You know what one of your big problems is? You don't want to be black when other people around who are not black. You like to blend in. You like to fade into the background. So we come up with words to help us fade into the background. As if white people don't know you black. As if Jews don't know you black. As if Latinos don't know you black. They know what you are. You cannot name yourself into invisibility. But we've come up with words to do that. Now we like to call ourselves people of color. Now notice, we've been black, Africans. Now we just people of color. See, that way I can hide with the Arab and hide amongst the Jews and hide with the East Indians. And then we got the minority thing. I'm a minority. You want to identify with other people more than your own. And to help you hate yourself, they came up with a whole new paradigm, multiculturalism. Some of y'all multicultural as hell. That's right. And what is multiculturalism? A strategy by white supremacy to take attention away from the unique issues of black folks and put them on everybody else in the country who not white. So multiculturalism says, the Latino experience is just as significant in America as the black experience. Multiculturalism says the Jewish American experience is just as significant as the black experience. Multiculturalism says the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender experience in America is just as significant as it is for blacks. It says that the Arab and East Indian and Chinaman and Korean experience in America is just as significant as the black experience. Well, let me ask you a question. Were Chinese people forced to come here? Were homosexuals ever considered not to be people in the United States? Were Latinos ever systematically kept from learning to the point that it was punishable by death? Have European Jews not received a promise to pay reparations? They have, we have not. So how do you elevate the experience of the Latino, the Jew, the Arab, the gay man, and the feminists to the level of black folks? Do you recognize that we are not fighting to have sex? Do you recognize we're not fighting to lay with somebody? Do you recognize we're not fighting for the right to participate in a behavior? The black struggle is principally fighting to exist. How do you compare somebody's fight to live with somebody's fight to have sex? How do you compare somebody's right to exist with somebody's right to have their cultural experience validated within the larger fabric of Americanism? Do you realize that you have nothing in common with none of these non-white so-called minority groups? But the white man's smart. The white man said we gotta find something that we can use to take attention away from black folks, but still keep it on white folks. See, when you say LBGT, that's a white movement. That's a white thing. How the hell you a minority because you gay? A white male who is a homosexual has more power than a black male who is not. How are you a minority? White female, a minority? Really? See, when the Civil Rights Bill came out, you know they changed the language in the final draft. They added 2 words, sex and gender. Study it if you don't believe me. It was just for black folk. But in America, you can't make a law just for black folk. You can make a law just for gays. You can make a law just for Latinos. You can make a law just for women, but you're not allowed to make a law just for blacks. That's why the 13th Amendment said slavery shall not be allowed in these territories, and then turned around in the second sentence and said, except as punishment for a crime. So how the hell are you going to say black folks is free in the first sentence and come right back and say all you got to do is lock them up and they're not free no more? Right. That's how the white man talk. Everything is a double negative. First Amendment says what? You have a right to peaceably assemble. So when Michael Brown was murdered, y'all peaceably assembled in first. Right. Then the white man came right back and said you can peacefully assemble, but not after 10 o'clock. That's how he operates. That's why you gotta stop going crazy every time you think something was done to help black folk. I'll give you one. Hate crimes law. Do you realize the hate crimes law was supposed to protect black folk from racially motivated crime? Right. But it has convicted more black folks for racially motivated crime. Look at that. Even when it's for you, it works against you. So you got to slow down and stop celebrating. I don't celebrate nothing that I haven't seen work itself out for at least 25 years or more. Including your ass. I got to see you for 25 years and see how you act. There's a black person to turn on your ass fast. I need 25 years with you. So brothers and sisters, you got to recognize this thing. Obama fought for the Equal Pay Act. Black feminist sisters was going off. Yes, women need to make what men make. I agree, ladies. You shouldn't make less than me. But do you realize the Equal Pay Act wasn't for black women?
Right.
That was for white, racist, privileged females.
Right.
And my issue with Obama, how in the hell do you pass a law to give white women more money in a paycheck when half the black men in St. Louis ain't got a goddamn paycheck at all? But you can help the white woman get more money. We ain't got a job at all. And then everybody want to act like they don't know while black folks is killing themselves on the street. Oh, we don't know what to do about this black on black. You know what the hell to do. The same thing you did when the Irish did it. The same thing you did when the Italians did it. Same thing you did when the Jews did it. When they came to America, they was killing each other, blowing each other brains out. They was gang banging, selling dope, booze, liquor, illegal guns, dying in the streets. You know why? Because they was angry as hell. They didn't have a right to participate in the American dream. And so the government said, we got to do something about this. And they said, we're going to give them an economic stimulus package. They called the Italians in and said, the fire department in the black ghetto is yours. Do we have to save them when their houses catch on fire? Nah, just look like you tried. They called the Irish in and said the police departments in the black ghettos are yours. Do we have to protect? Hell no, just look like it. And then they called the European Jews in and said the downtown civil service jobs, the ones you're supposed to take a test to get, y'all want to get them just because y'all choose. And they control the downtown jobs to this day. They gave them an economic stimulus package. Where's yours at? Where's yours at? You ain't get one yet. And they trying to act like black folk are in the condition we in because we want to stay there. A little bit of us, yes, we got some responsibility. But come on now. You mean to tell me you help everybody up? Ain't no white folk in America got rich without no help. Ain't nobody come here and pull themselves up from their boots. The government helped them out. The biggest welfare program. The biggest welfare program in the history of the United States of America was the GI Bill for white males. You come home from the World War with a GI Bill, you're going to get preferential hiring, that's privilege. Preferential housing, that's privilege. Preferential education, that's privilege. Yeah, some black men got it, but it was disproportionately set to the side for white folk. And the government helped poor white people get out the black ghettos. The Federal Housing Association gave them low interest loans. Broke ass white folk, they gave them money to get away from you. Trying to act like they just got a good job and saved on up and moved out. That's a lie. Y'all helped them. But when black folk tried to get that same low interest loan and move to the suburbs, they redlined you and trapped you in the damn ghetto. And then when you tried to buy up the ghetto, they wouldn't even give you a loan in the ghetto. Talking about that area, you know, that's not a part of the program. That's not a part of the federal program. And you know why they did that? Because they wanted to make sure when white folks decided to come back to St. Louis and take it back, you didn't own shit, so it'd be easy to move you out the way and come back on home. Lying to us, but if you ain't politically educated, you wouldn't know that. You would think there's something wrong with black folks. I know why the Arabs and the Mexicans can come to St. Louis and build businesses faster than you. Yeah, their work ethic might be a little bit more fine-tuned than yours because you think somebody owe you something, but that ain't the real reason. The real reason is the fact that they can access the capital, access the wealth, access the money. Why do you think they can buy 10 Walmarts, open up 10 Walmarts at the same time? Arab come in 5 gas stations. Chinaman come in 3 corner stores. He only been in America 12 hours. He's able to do that because he got a line of credit. You go to the bank and you ask for a line of credit and they tell you we can help you out with a small business loan. They giving a white man $1 million. They giving an Asian $500,000. They giving a Latino $250,000. And guess what they gonna give you? $5,000. What the hell I'm gonna do with that? Pretzels and ice cups? Water icy? What business I'm gonna start with 5K. But check this out. I can go back to the same bank that would only give me a $5,000 small business loan, and if I ask them for a student loan, if I ask him for a student loan, he says I can get 100 grand. And then once I get my bachelor's, he'll give me another 100 for my master's. Let me tell you why you can only get 5 for a business, but 500 grand for med school. Because when they give you that $250,000 student loan, they're not investing in you, you investing in them. They know when you finish your college education, you got to pay back the student loans with interest, because you cannot bankrupt or with what they call it, file bankruptcy on your student loans. That's right. 2 million black people in America with master's and doctorate degrees and can't find a damn job. But they'll give you a student loan. And some of you parents in here can't wait to send your children to college. Please tell me what the hell for? Oh, Dr. Johnson came to St. Louis. He has 6 degrees, but he don't want me to send my child to college. Do you realize when I went to school as a freshman in 1992, the college degree still meant a little bit of something? That was 1992. But if you're going to college now in 2015, after NAFTA and Obama's Trans-Pacific Partnership that can flip 40% of the jobs to second and third world nations, ain't no job waiting for your child. So what do you suppose we do then? I suppose you sit down with your child and discuss 3 opportunities. 1, economic mentorship. We're going to find you a black person who has their own business and is doing quite well. And you're going to go and apprentice yourself to that black business, and you're going to save your money while you're working on it so you can emulate and start your own business. Yes. That's 1. That's 1. Strategy number 2, I'm sending you to trade school. That's right. Well, I don't want that. It ain't up to you. I'm paying for trade school. 2 years. That's all I got for you. And when you get out of trade school, you will be certified as a plumber or an electrician, as a carpenter or an HVAC specialist, as an auto bottle mechanic or brick mason. In other words, you will be able to feed your family no matter how bad the economy is, because a licensed trade person can get his hustle on right in his own damn community. He ain't got to fill out no job applications to fix a leaking roof or put the brakes on a car. If I was in charge, every black child would go to trade school before they go to college. And one of the reasons why, 2 reasons. Number 1, parents, if you send them to trade school, it's only 2 years. You won't go into debt. They will come out with a usable trade, something they can put to work immediately. And then after you know they can work, hell, if they want to go to college, they can pay for it. Right. But you don't want that. You want to do the bourgeoisie thing. Right. You're going to send Shaquita to the University of Missouri so she can get a PhD, summa cum laude, top graduate in the class with a doctorate in grasshopper reproduction on the moon. Come over here, my baby graduated with honors. She was number 1 in her class. For real, what is her degree in? Grasshopper reproduction on the moon. summa cum laude, University of Missouri, and can't find a damn job because mommy and daddy didn't have the common sense to make sure she pursued a career that actually had some economic relevance. You don't send your child to college and tell them to choose what they want. If my daughter says, Daddy, I want to study ancient medieval art, sure, here's a library card right down the street. You can study all day long. Don't cost you no money. But if I got to mortgage my damn house, if I got to mortgage my damn retirement, you ain't choosing no liberal arts degree. I got a general liberal arts degree. What job does that equal? What business can you make from that?
Right.
College is a business. College is a hustle. You don't send a black child to college unless you know, number one, they gonna finish on time. And number two, that they taking up something that matters. Now, most of you are gonna flunk out on criteria number one, because half of you are raising black children right here in Missouri who lazy and trifling as hell. They don't have no discipline, they don't have no motivation, they don't have no effort, they trifle.